I'm back. That was unexpected. So the dad who was supposed to do the carpool, I guess, was out of town today. So the kids were sort of stranded, and they're like, "Where's so-and-so's dad?" And so then my son's like, "Okay, we'll call my dad," and that's what happened. So I rescued them from being stuck at school, because it's quite a ways for them to walk home. And probably no one's watching me because I raided someone else, but we'll see how it goes. I'll just keep working. Maybe people will come back. I'm back on streaming. Okay. I'll just keep going as if nothing happened here. I actually forgot what I was doing. Did I have something in the clipboard? I did. I had a bunch of stuff. What is this? Oh, I remember now. This was announce sprite update, right? Yeah, okay. Good. Picking up where I left off. Is anyone in chat or am I alone? I could be alone, I'm not sure. I probably oh, Romania Hate is here. How's it going? Going better now, but this is the first time in a while I've had to cut my stream in the middle with a little break. Unexpected break, but I'm back. Back in business. I don't appear online? I don't, huh? Let's see. Oh, no, I see myself online now. But I was hosting some. I had raided Kid Boga when I had to jump out really quick. Yeah, well, Twitch is just being Twitch, I guess. Hey there, Malvex. Well, at least you two are here. So I'm not streaming for nobody. I'll just keep going. So I'm in the middle of refactoring the rendering system to my game. So if you happen to be here from Adam hosted me right before I had to jump out, if you're from that, I spammed some links earlier. Let me spam them again. I'm working on an online RPG multiplayer, and you can log into it now, but there's not much you can do because it's very new. I did establish the background world. Oops, and I just painted a tile where I didn't mean to. So there's an online world. You can log in and move around in it. I added collision system yesterday, so you can't walk over water. And I also added mountains, so basic tests on whether or not you can be blocked by other tiles in the game. So that's all working. There's also an in-game chat. And I'm working today on refactoring and fixing some of the issues that have popped up in the last few days. And also I need to organize my issues into a nice list in a GitHub, so they're all in one place. So the game system that takes the information from the world and your current position and paints the view for you, so to speak, is this rendering system, which is what I'm in the file for that right now, and I'm breaking up the huge function that did everything into smaller functions and giving them names, so that's easier for me to read the code. So announce sprite update. This will be given the tile, and I think also the position, right, of the entity that we're updating the sprite for. So I know I need entity and tile, but I also need position, right? So I need the entity, the tile, the position. I forget what that was set to. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I guess that I'm passing that in, I guess. Add old position. Cameras. Probably new probably all those variables I need. And that, oh, that's everything I need. Okay, cool. So it's a monster function but it is a piece of a much larger monster that I've now broken up, which is here. So now I just need to list all the things that are needed. Had old position, X, Y, old X, old Y, cameras, new cameras, feedback delegate. And then all this goes. Let's see if I did it right. If I did it right, my unit test will still pass. And I did it right. They all pass still. Adam pass. I don't use that emote enough. I should use it more. So now I should be able to read the movement system a little bit easier. So, I mean the rendering system. So for the start event, we just do this, which is basically to fill in some cached information. If it's not an update, we ignore the event. But if it's an update, we detect new cameras. We give feedback for any new cameras about the initial sprites that should be shown. Then we update old camera views, provide tile sets to new cameras, and then update the tile for anything in the dirty tile set, which is things that changed in the world since the last time the rendering system ran. Update tile for cameras. With one tile, it's going to look up its tile component and the position of that tile. And if it can't be found or it's not in the current zone, then tell the and there was an entry in the you know what I could do? I could do an erase. Anyway, if there was an entry for it before, we're going to broadcast that it's gone now, and then remove it from our cache, and then return. But if it's still there, we're going to take its position, see if it had an old position. If so, we might show it as a move and not a new sprite, but it depends on the camera. So if we didn't know about it before, it's definitely a new sprite. Otherwise, it's an update to an existing sprite, and that, depending on the camera, might be a move, a remove, or an add. Because if it was in view before and it's still in view, it's a move. Oops. If it was in view before but not anymore, it's removed. If it wasn't in view anymore and now it is, it's an add. I think I can refactor a little bit more out of this because this add sprite code is exactly the same between there and there, right? Almost. I don't like what I did here. Let me undo that. The only thing different is this one doesn't know the depth, and so it has to look into the position component. Okay, let's refactor that a little bit more then. So this is announce. This is announce new sprite for all cameras, and what I want is announce the sprite for one camera. So let's say announce new sprite to camera. And this is to all cameras. That'll be the difference between these two. And that's one bit here. So we need some of the same things. I need the feedback delegate. I need the entity and the tile X and Y. Hey, play poker badly? How are you doing? I'm just doing some refactoring today. Do I want to take this view? I think I do want to call it view X, view Y. And I need the depth. I'm trying to keep it in the same order here. Okay, and then I additionally need the camera. So that's const camera. Oh, yeah, camera. And that is inside this class. So that becomes just camera first second, right? Maybe it's not camera. Oh, I know what it is. It's not a camera. It's a server client identity. So this is the camera server client. Okay, so we're going to use this from here. So it's entity. Oh, did I have that order of the arguments different? Oh, well, it doesn't matter. It's view X, view Y, tile, depth, camera first, feedback delegate. That's this instance of it. And oh, where this was before, I have to add to all cameras. To all cameras. Okay, cool. And then the other place where I do an add sprite can be replaced by that call there. With slightly different arguments. The depth is replaced by that. I don't know why I didn't cast it to int before. Probably because it was deduced, but I like doing that explicitly if this thing is a JSON value, which it is. And then that replaces all of that. So most of this refactoring is, it's not reducing the line count too much. It's giving names to certain parts of the logic to make it readable. So when you get down here, when you see this name, announce new sprite to camera, you kind of know what's going on. That this entity you have to know that the entity is the identifier of the sprite. And it's like, here's the coordinates. This has to do with what it shows up as. There's a depth of field, because tiles can be stacked. And then this is the camera we're announcing to, and this, you just have to know that that's the function that's used to make announcements to cameras. But it's better than the body of that code, it's harder to read. It's like we're making a message, and then we're forming another wrapper around it, and then we're calling it. That's the details that we don't really care about at the higher level view. So I could do the same thing for these two. Instead of announced new sprite, it would be announced sprite removed. Actually, this is probably showing up in one place. Okay, no, one it's a broadcast, and the other one it is to a specific camera. I'm going to do it anyway. So this will be announce sprite removed to camera. And it's going to need to know the entity and the camera and the feedback delegate. That's this code. Let's go here and put it underneath it. Sprite removed to camera. Paste. And it's let's see if I get the order right. It was entity camera feedback delegate, right? And then that replaces this part there. Okay, I think I got it right. And then this one is announce sprite moved to camera. And that needs a view X, a view Y, in addition to the camera first and the feedback delegate. So we'll put it, let's put it here. Announce sprite moved to camera. So, actually, I can just copy from here and remove what's not needed. No tile or depth. And then this replaces that. Okay. These I could refactor a little bit more too. Right? There was a feedback delegate ECS and some other helpers I had. But they weren't here. Where did I put them? Oh, they were in a different system. Okay, we'll just leave them. Let's see if I can read this now. To announce that a certain sprite has been updated. Oh, maybe I should refactor this a bit. What is this doing? Oh, this is a sprite update to every camera. So yeah, really I should make this its own function. Announce sprite update to all cameras. And then, yeah, I think that's what I'll do. Sprite update. This should be to... Oh, that is to all cameras. Oh, did I put that in and not remove the original call? That's possible. Or was it duplicated? That's possible too. Let's see. Is there any difference between that code and the next hit? There is no next hit. Oh wait, no, I'm just confused. Ignore me. It's the fact that I have the word update here and here. This is at the... Okay, it's more than the sprite is updated. It's also if it's updated and or moved. I want to be very particular. And I should say to all cameras. For consistency. Yeah. Update and or moved. And if I wanted to, I can take this out as an update, which I think I will do. So that is this much of it. Announce sprite update to all cameras. Don't know what the argument list is. There's the body. All right. I probably don't need all these things. Let's see what I do need. I need the entity. I need the tile. Do I need the position? I do not. Don't need the has old position either. I need the X, because that's used to compute the view X. I don't need the old X though. And I need the new cameras and the feedback delegate. Yes. Okay, so that's what I want. So this is entity tile X and Y. Hold on. Oh, too many commas. X, Y, cameras, new cameras, feedback delegate. Hey there, Mantis. How are you doing? I'm doing some refactoring today. Actually, and I got myself a snack during the break. I hope you guys don't mind. I'll mute the mic while I'm eating that. I was okay until I got a surprise break in my stream. And it happened just after Adam hosted me, so a whole bunch of viewers came in and I had to say, oh, sorry, I gotta go. But I'll be back, you know, and I probably lost most of my viewers, but, you know, life happens. I got pulled away because my son's carpool, the driver wasn't there. So I had to jump in and go rescue them. They were stranded at school. Hey, there's Steampunk Devil. So I'm refactoring, which means I'm using my existing unit tests and making sure they all pass while I clean up this code. So I'm trying to split up my code into smaller functions. So I did that here. These are all the smaller functions so that you can look at this and sort of get the gist of what's going on. So this is given, we're announcing a sprite is updated and or moved to all cameras. We say if it didn't have an old position or the position changed, then for every camera, if they could see it and they can see it now, announce a move. Otherwise, announce it was removed. If they couldn't see it before and now can, it's a new sprite. So at least I can look at this code and more easily read it. The downside is that each of these sub-functions has got a lot of arguments. I could probably mitigate that by putting this all into a class, but I don't know. Probably the way it is. This is C++. C++ and C# kind of look similar, especially if you use some of the newer C++ syntax. One way you can really tell it's C++, not C#, is the double colon there. That's a C++ thing. In C# it would be a dot. Also, I don't know if C# uses const everywhere, or reference. So there's some little signatures of C++ that aren't in C# that you can see. I'm actually thinking this system is in good shape and I can check this in and move on for now. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to make sure that everything from the whole set of test suites passes. While that's working, I'm going to go check it in. Cool. This is all refactoring. This is refactoring both the rendering and the movement systems, isn't it? Yes, so refactoring the movement, a refactor, make it imperative, right? And refactor the movement and rendering systems, game systems. So, in case you haven't seen this before, I am using an entity component system. And best to show you from this point of view, right down here. Every time any kind of event happens, all of these functions, which are called game systems, are run, and they're given the same information about what happened. They operate on the game objects, which are represented in two dimensions. One dimension is components, and the other dimension is entities. An entity is just a tag, or an identifier, that's used to group together the components of the same game object. You can think of an entity as the game object, but by itself it's just a number. To attach data to a game object, you have to associate components with those entities. So each one of these systems operates on as many of the game objects as makes sense for them. So the movement system deals with all the input components in the game, which are all of the structures where it's stored about what key you want to be pressing to move in the game. And I lost my login due to inactivity, so I need to log in again to show you. Log in. So if I show you this with the debug view, the every time I do a movement key, you'll see two things are sent to the game server. Player input move D, and then player input move empty string. These are directly writing into the input component. The two fields that matter here are the move, which is the key I hit. So in this case it was D. And then if you release it, it goes into empty string. And the other one is the move on and a flag. So move on is telling the movement system that you just pressed the movement key. And then the actual key you pressed is there, and I have a map from that to a delta position. So a D would mean you're moving to the right one square. And the whole job of the movement system is to say, if you pressed a key and you it translates to a relative position, see if we can move that entity, and if we can, then move it. That's all it does. Thanks for the follow. I'm not sure if I can get your name right. Bobette Analog? Is that close enough? You're a Java dev working on an MMORPG game. Oh, awesome. Are you also streaming, Mantis? If not, maybe you could someday. You're going to have a beta of your game, so you're a lot further along. My strategy has been to evolve the game on stream, so even though the game's not really filled with any content yet, you can already log into it. As opposed to having developing a lot of the content offline and then publishing it as a beta or an early access. So mine's a little bit different. But way to go, Mantis. Sounds cool. So anyway, the movement system, like I was saying, is just moving an entity. And what a move is modifying the position component of that entity, and just the delta means just change some part of that component, and the only parts we're changing are the coordinates. So it doesn't change what zone we're in or anything else. And that is not done immediately, but it's sent as feedback to the rest of the server to be applied to all copies of the server. Because one thing about my game is it's not just one backend server, it's multiple, and they all coordinate with each other. So when you tell the game I want to move to the right, it has to spread that information to all three servers, and once all three are there, it gets executed in the game, and that comes back and actually applies the requested action, which would be to change your coordinates. And that comes back to you as a client through the move sprite. So when I moved, it says, okay, move it to that position. Hey there, Code Visionary, I see you chatting in-game. So, yep. I like to show this sometimes too, that all the green messages on the right here are messages from my player client to the game server, and all the black ones are information from the servers back to me. So whenever I move, or whenever someone else in the game moves, you're getting these messages that the server is telling the client, okay, move that sprite somewhere else on the screen. So hopefully that makes sense. If you guys have any questions, let me know. You can see everything in the game has an entity number. In the admin view, I can actually mouse over things, so I can see that my own character is entity 1983, and I can do clever things like I can teleport that entity 1983 to some other position in the world. How about the middle? There, I jumped over to 00. So why am I sending empty moves? It's not that it's an empty move, it's that you're stopping the move. So if I click and hold left, I've started the move. And you see it, notice how I'm not transmitting any message to the server? It's when I release the movement key that you send something, it's basically saying you've stopped moving. So that way it's they're sticky. So if you click and hold a direction, you just keep moving. And you move at the cooldown rate of movement, which is right now constant quarter second, but in the future I could make it so that you slow down when you move through swampland, for example. Or if maybe I'll let you move over mountains, but the cooldown is very long. Stuff like that, right? So it's not like you have to click, click, click. You can click and hold and you continue moving, and then when you release, it has to tell the server that you've stopped wanting to move. That's what that is. This is a phaser stage, so it is either Canvas or WebGL. I let the phaser.io library handle it for me. The DOM surrounds it. This is just one big WebGL canvas that I'm doing phaser stuff in. Kind of like, you know, Adam uses Pixie, I'm using phaser. It's roughly equivalent. Each of the tiles here is a sprite in that stage, and so every time I tell phaser to move a sprite or to add a sprite or remove one, it causes a WebGL or a canvas change. Yeah. All right, I checked that in, right? Okay, so I think I'm done with the refactoring the game systems today, which was the first goal. So the second goal, I wanted to fix some of the issues with the tileset panel. I think it's all on the front end. So one issue I had was if I click add here, nothing happens. I actually have to reload the client and go back to that panel to see the new tileset. Same thing with remove. I click that and nothing happens. That's the first annoying bug I want to fix today. And I'm going to do this with my test environment first. So here's my test environment. I'm all by my lonesome. The world is much smaller and different, but it's running on my local computer as opposed to being running in Amazon cloud. It has the same problem, right? Hit add, nothing happens until I reload. Go back to that panel, and then it appears, and then I remove doesn't do anything until I reload. So I'm going to fix that now. I want to see if the actual message from the backend appears or not when I click add. Click add. There's the action to add the tile set. Did it come back through any socket? I think no. This is the original one. Okay, so it's a back-end issue. We're telling the game we want to add a tile set, and it never comes back and says, "Oh, here's a new tile set." I wonder if that's because of the way I changed the rendering system. It would be a rendering system bug then. No, hold on. I had a special system called tile sets. This might be broken here. This is what should happen. You should get an add tile set message. This message should be sent, and I don't think it is being sent. What is Raft in server? Where are you seeing Raft? Are you seeing it in my code somewhere? Raft, if I understand the reference correctly, it's the Raft consensus algorithm, and that's what I'm using to have all three servers stay in sync. That's the only Raft that I know about. Yeah, so that's so that if any one server crashes, the game continues and service is not interrupted. As long as the majority of the servers in this cluster stay running, the game is not disrupted by any one server going down. That's what that Raft consensus algorithm gets me. So yeah, why is this not happening? Yeah, that one, yeah. So if you have any questions, let me know. I didn't invent that algorithm. Of course, that was Diego Ongaro. It was his PhD thesis. And Adam13531 recommended that algorithm to me way back. And I liked it so much, I implemented it myself. It's not perfect, but it works for me for what I need. And it's actually in my GitHub if you wanted to look at it and critique it and all that. I have a lot of reusable components in GitHub, including the Raft implementation. You're intrigued by the CPP part of the stack? You'll find lots of the elementary pieces in my GitHub there if you want to see like my implementation of WebSockets. This is all open source, MIT license. I also have the Raft stuff I just mentioned is all also in the GitHub. So it's talking about replicating journal entries and all that, right? And other things like my implementation of JSON values, how to encode and decode JSON, handles Unicode and all that stuff, arrays, objects, all that stuff. I even have the prototype, the original prototype or mock-up of my game is also in GitHub called Iron Glove. My own web server, which forms the backbone of the server-client communication, that's also in my GitHub. So lots of bits and pieces you can find there. The game itself isn't, though, because that I want to try to make a business out of. So right now it's not open source. I want to try to find out why this message is never being sent. Presumably we're getting updates. It should be going through all tile set components, presuming that I sent the correct message here. Create entity, and my chat is overlaying a little bit. There we go, I fixed it. Create entity with components tile set. So it should have created it. It looks to see if the entity is in this tile set versions map. And if it isn't, it's supposed to... What is this doing? Oh, it stores the entity ID there. What am I doing here? Oh, thanks for the follow, Liquidor. Is this Dransic? I don't know what Dransic is, but hello. I'll spam a few commands for people who might not know what I'm doing. I'm working on a multiplayer online RPG, and you can log into it here. I'm evolving it on stream. We have a bunch of people who are logged into it right now. Oh, the man is a new player. Welcome, the man. I'll unmask you. Close that ticket. Oh, we actually had 2 other players. Let me unmask them. Blah? Okay. Blah is a valid name. Oh, and there's a new ticket. But let me first go to the players and unmask these new players. Test 2 or keep mask, though, because that's a test player account. So what's the new issue here? Player name should be case insensitive. Yeah, so that's a known issue. Thanks for reporting this. It's a known issue that I'll be fixing soon. I'll leave it open until I fix it. Are you going to implement multi-directional movement, like diagonal? I'm not sure, because the old games that I'm inspired by, you couldn't move diagonally. If you could move diagonally, it would change some of the mechanics of the game. So, for example, let's say I put a mountain here, and you're standing right here, right? So in games where you can't move diagonally, you'd be able to see out here, because there's nothing occluding vision, per se, but you wouldn't be able to move, and that might make sense for, like, if you wanted a crack you wanted to see through. I wouldn't need any kind of special tile to represent a crack in a wall, right? But if you can move diagonally, it's not really a crack. It's a hole in the wall. So I'm inclined to keep movement X up, down, left, right, and allow vision to be diagonal, if you know what I mean. All right. So I wonder if the problem is this feedback delegate is not going to all cameras. Oh, that's it. That's the bug. Feedback delegate by itself only goes to players who are logged in, not cameras. Actually, this is wrong. This feedback delegate should never do that. What did the rendering system do for feedback delegate? Message is what? Feedback. These are all directed to certain cameras, right? Hold on. Yeah, so it's directed to a certain client-server combination. That one too. Yeah. I had a broadcast in here, though. Oh, but broadcast looped through all cameras. So yeah, that's the bug. I need to do that instead of this. I need to go through all cameras and attach the server client. That's the bug. Okay, so I should probably make a unit test to reproduce the bug. Tileset. Let's go and do it. So tileset. Oh, actually there is a unit test. It probably is just obsolete. Yep, it's obsolete. So let's just fix the test. It needs to be like the rendering system ones where there was a camera created. Like that. That has to be in a range. Actually, maybe I'll make all of the tests register a camera. That makes sense to me. Let's do that. So testing, what is it called? I forget the name of the class. Testing test. Don't blame me for that. The name of that, that's something Google came up with. It's the base class for all Google test fixtures. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the code that I had here, which registers a camera in the system, and then just have that as common setup that's done. And let's remember the camera ID. So properties int camera entity, initialize it, and then we'll just set it down here and use it there and there. Not trying to advertise or anything, but you're also working on a browser RPG for about a year. Yeah, I know. I think I've seen your stream a few times. In fact, you're working on one inspires you to keep going with it. Well, great. We'll inspire each other. Yeah, you're a streamer, Code Visionary. I've seen your stream a few times, right? Or am I getting you confused with someone else? I might be confusing you with someone else. But here, I'll give you a shout out just in case you're a streamer. Why is there a camera on the server side? Oh, that might have been. I might have been in your one stream. Why do I have cameras? Is because the view of the world is different depending on where you are. So for each of these players, there's a different camera. If you were on top of another player, conceivably you could use the same camera. And that might be one optimization I do. But right now, even if you're one square away, your view of the world will at least differ by, you know, however many sprites it is. I think that's 15. So 15 sprites are going to be different, and all the other ones are going to be slightly different coordinate. So the camera is basically the viewport into the world, and everyone has a different one. And it has to be on the server side because I don't want players to have information about what they can't see. Otherwise, they could cheat. It'd be very easy to reverse engineer the server client messages and then find secrets in the game. So what the server does is it reduces what's in the game to what you should be able to see. So let's say there was a chest hidden under the ground here. I wouldn't want the player to know it unless they go and search there. So the server knows it, but the client doesn't know it because what we tell the client is that there's just grass there, right? Yeah, vision is a factor. Also, hiding things in plain sight could be just something is only there if you have a certain ability, or you search there, or something like that. Time of day, maybe there's a gateway to another world, but it only appears at midnight or something. Stuff like that. Okay, camera entity is set up. I think I want to make these things constants that we can use. So that would be static const int camera server 85. I just need some numbers here because the test will check to make sure that they are what they should be. Server client. That has to be a position. Making it 0 is convenient that I don't have to calculate offsets. So I'm going to leave that as it is. Okay, so that means this test is modified by including the keys that were missing before. Server and client, basically the same numbers. Actually, I can cheat and just copy paste this code up here. There we go. Whoops. There we go. All right. So now the test will fail, which will reproduces the problem, and then I'll fix the code to make the test pass. It took Blizzard about 4 years to make Fog Stealth server-side. It's kind of tricky because if you hide too much from the client, you can have trouble with predictive... What do you call it? If you want to reduce server lag, then you want some of the calculations to be done on the client side. But if the client doesn't know all the information the server knows, the client could either get the answer wrong, or it could not be able to calculate it at all because it's just missing variables. So it can be tricky. If you give the client more variables than the player should know, then you risk revealing to the player if they hack the client, right? So, for example, a shooter game, if you tell the client that there's someone behind the wall, and then you tell the client, well, don't show to the player that there's someone hiding behind the wall. If you've hacked the client, then you can see through the wall, right? But if you don't tell the client that there's someone there at all, and the client has predictive calculation of what to show on the screen, then you could have the problem where you don't see anyone there, and then the server catches up and says, oh, no, there's a guy there. So it'll look like someone pops into existence, and you'll be like, oh, they must be cheating because they just suddenly appeared from nowhere. When in reality, it's that the server was too slow to tell the player that there was someone there. So I can see how that could cause any kind of large scale game like what Blizzard would do to take a while. All right, so this will fail, right? So this reproduces the problem, which is, oh, it doesn't even work correctly. Okay, never mind. We'll have to debug and see what the problem is. Feedback delegate is probably empty, right? Yeah. That's because this test doesn't set it up like it should. The actually, it should be setting it up. So what did I do wrong? This should be going to this class. Oh, I know it is. I'm double overwriting it. So yeah, this needs to call the base class common setup. And actually, while I'm at it, since I'm overwriting that one, we should be doing this thing. That's the problem. Okay. So yeah, the feedback is going to every player, but not the client connection that has the camera. So that's why we don't see it. So the fix would be that in tileset, instead of calling that directly, I have to send it to all cameras. I'm going to make a helper function for this. Actually, where were cameras resigning? That's the rendering system's job, right? Oh, that reminds me. I think the rendering system dealt with tilesets too. Yes, it did. There was a little bit of overlap between the two systems. That's fine. Actually, I'm not even looking at the right thing. I need to be looking at the source code, not the test. Right, we have provide tile sets to cameras. That's fine. That takes care of if a new camera is added, right? Or does it? Let me make sure. Yeah, new cameras get tile sets. So existing cameras should only get tile set updates, which means I can just use it, look at the current cameras. So yeah, let me make the helper for this. Auto is the var of C#. Yep, do I have a command for that? I do. Type deduction. It's like var in other languages. That's one thing I really appreciate Adam for is he taught me the usefulness of making commands in chat to answer questions. All right. We're going to do this only for all cameras, so no, I don't have an Atom or an everything. I should have an Atom command though. Yeah, I don't have everything. Here, Liquidar, I should give you a point for need to add Atom command. Since I do talk about Atom's channel and Botland a lot. Let's also add Botland commands. Why not? Yeah, if you're not familiar, I'll give a shout out directly. Adam13531 has inspired me a lot. He's a fellow Twitch streamer and he's working on a game called Botland, which you can go to bot.land and play for free now. Strategy game with a focus on automation. Okay, so I need some arguments here. Feedback delegate, where are you? There it is. So I need this. What we're gonna call this thing? I don't know. I'll figure out the name in a second. I just got to get the arguments correct. Right, and I need tileset is the entity, right? So this is announce tileset added. I didn't have a command for C++ because that's something that should be easily searchable. I guess the only thing I should say is how often I've used it, and that's in my code journey. Namespaces and classes are very similar in C++ because they both define a scope, and a namespace is really not much more than a scope with a name. In fact, you could use class instead of namespace almost exclusively if you wanted to. Here, right? This is tileset feedback delegate. So I'm going to do one test at a time. Just get this test to pass would be in this place. Now that it's refactored, I can do the same kind of loop that I did for the broadcast. Actually, I'm just going to take this helper as is and pull it over here. Maybe I should, I know what I'll do. I'll build this in. No, I won't. I was going to say build into the components class, but then this anonymous function won't be able to get to it. I didn't know the test linked there, but I guess that makes sense. Actually, I'm not sure why test links there. That should be what issues links to. Yeah, there you go. Issues links there. I don't know why test links there. Let me investigate that. Look into why I lost my bullets. Got the bullets back. Why does test alias to issues? There might have been some reason why I did that. -1. Toxic. Broadcast feedback is what I want to do here. The message is this message. No, it's... Thanks for the follow, Arzul. You can't give and take points yet. You should be able to give, but not take. In fact, I'm going to give Liquidor a point for thinking of the command... Well, technically King-O-Matics too. Because I hadn't thought about that. I'm going to work on my bot soon, and I'm going to want to be able to... I'll put these as sub-bullets of... I should add point gifting in my bot. And I'll give you guys a point for making me think of that. Don't have point gifting yet because I don't have a bot that's listening for those commands. Exactly. There's no bot listening, Liquidor, I'm sorry. But I will add one soon. And I promise to go through and all the handwritten points, I will begin people with that balance already. Right, that's feedback. That's the message. So this is the message. And then the cameras. And then the feedback delegate. Yeah, stream elements days are numbered for me. At least as the bot. I'm going to replace the stream elements bot with my own bot. No hard feelings, stream elements. But you're going to be replaced soon. Maybe next week. I might work on that next week. Because I want the bot to be running in the game server, and I want the points to be stored in the game, really. That way I can award points in-game, and then they apply to the same pool as if I added them in Twitch chat. Okay, so add... This needs the cameras. That's all I need to worry about. Cameras. And let's see if I fixed it now. I'll know if I fixed it if the test passes. It didn't pass. Oh, I forgot to add... No, I didn't forget to add. What am I... So it's in there. Oh, wait a minute. The tileset number is not correct. Also, the tiles aren't correct. What happened here? Oh, it's not an entity. It is a JSON value. That's my problem. So this is const JSON value tileset. There we go. They're convertible, so I didn't get a compiler error. Yay! Alright, now let's fix the next test. These should, actually all of these tests should expect messages sent to the camera, not to all players, which is an obsolete mechanism. At least for rendering. That makes sense, right? Not removed, okay. Okay, so it's update next. Tileset changed. Yep, so there's no target to the message. So I bet it's going to be very similar, right? Announce tileset changed. Update, yeah. Changed. So it's update tileset instead of add. Otherwise it's the same. Easy peasy. Thanks for the follow. I like your attempt to be making me say that name. Thank you for the follow anyway. I'm not gonna say your name, sorry. Okay, remove tileset. Same thing, right? So this is gonna be, oh, this one's slightly different. This one is just the entity number. Right, so that's removed. Removed. So this one, it's an entity. And the message is remove tileset. And then I can drop this, and we're done. Nope, I got something wrong. Okay, it should be ID, so the test is wrong. I mean, the code is wrong. It should be ID, not tileset. That makes sense. Cool. Let's run all of those tests, shall we? Cool. Now let's run all of the tests in the entire server. And while that's going, I can restart the test environment and make sure I fixed it end to end. So as soon as that comes back up, this should go green. And then now, hopefully, I can, remove should work. Yay! Add should work. And then also, I should be able to change this. So if I set that to avatars, hit update. Good, it worked. And then back to background. Nice. And then I should be able to fix these. So that should have been an 8. Update. Cool. I think it's working now. Do you care about console logs in production? Not so much. If I left in a whole ton of them, I'd probably want to go back and remove them. Yeah, I probably left some in there, yeah. It's not leaking any information. In fact, I think I have it set up right now when it deploys the app. Like, you can basically get all the source code to the app. I'm not running any kind of code obfuscation. And I'm not too worried about that because really the part of the code I don't want open sourced as the backend. I like to fix those eventually anyway because I get really nitpicky about stuff. So I appreciate letting me know about that. Yeah, I did know about that. Those from. Let me know if you see anything that like is excessive. Like if there's excessive logging, I'd want to know because I'd want to then turn it off. Is Phaser widely used in game development? It seems that it has only 14,000 downloads. Well, depends, I guess, on the metric we're looking at. I'm assuming you're looking at NPM. I don't know if you can trust these metrics per se because I don't know if everyone gets it through NPM. I don't know what this metric is calculated from. Yeah, I haven't got the fav icon yet. Actually, really I need to have a logo for the game in order to know what kind of fav icon to make. Right now, yeah, we're using the React fav icon. I really don't know how widely it's used. What would we see if we did npm pixie? That's deprecated. Is it pixie.js? What is it deprecated by? How come it... Okay, do I need to search here? Why am I not finding it? I don't know. There you go. And I know a lot of people use Pixie, and that's also in the 10 to 20,000 range. It looks like if you compare the two stats, Pixie is relatively more popular than Phaser, but who knows about absolute popularity? I have no idea. Don't know. The other option people have told me is just don't use Phaser at all and just do WebGL myself, but wasn't too interested in doing it myself right now. 3JS. Oh yeah, we should compare to that. How popular is 3JS? Oh, that's a lot more popular. Well, there you go. I guess the answer is Phaser and Pixie are not nearly as popular as 3JS. I wonder if I should look into it because it says it also provides 2D stuff. You know, who knows? I might eventually move to... I'm not locked into Phaser for per se. I would only need to change one file in my entire front-end files, and that would be the stage middleware. And even that, I could probably abstract out a lot of that stuff. If I made an abstraction layer, I could easily change from like Phaser to Pixie or 3JS or WebGL or whatever I want. All right, I guess I'm checking this in because we're done with this bug. Right, so this is fix tileset add change remove feedback. The feedback was using the obsolete mechanism of sending messages to all players. So cameras, such as the camera entity made by the admin, were not getting these messages. Send all tileset feedback to cameras. It has a water engine. Maybe that's why it's so popular then. It's just got a lot of cool stuff in it. Used for grass, etc. Yeah. Okay, fix that. Now this one. So let me demonstrate this problem. If I bring up my player in local host here and log in as a normal player, and then I just spam the movement keys. Spamming, 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 spamming. Connection to game's lost. That's because the game kicks me. In fact, it even tells me so. Maximum message frequency exceeded. See that? So I actually get banned for 60 seconds from that server. I have myself auto whitelisted so it won't happen, but I would have been if it was in production, banned from one of the 3 servers. So the problem is that there's no client-side limiting of spamming of movement keys, and the quick idea I had was to have some kind of timer that clears a flag in Redux, and if that flag is set, we just we'll ignore movement keys. So just kind of start dropping movement keys if you spam them too quickly. So let me see if I could do something real quick for that, and maybe that'd be sufficient. Player console. So let's make a state for this. So I'm gonna go to my reducers. Let's put it in the session. Or should I put it into the stage? I actually think the stage reducer is obsolete. Or there's too much in session and some of it should go to stage. Anyway, I guess I'll add it here. What will the name be? How about move cooled down? False or true. And let's make an action. I need 2 actions. How about begin and end cooldown? So let's have them both start with M. So let's say define action, move cooldown begin. And then the other one will be end. Hey Nui, yeah, I'm back. I put a message in my Discord and relied on that plus notifications to let people know. I said before I had to leave, it'd probably be about half an hour, and I think it was, what, 20 minutes? So I did come back. It was just needed to rescue some kitties. Yeah, 3JS, I've heard it has, you can do all sorts of 3D stuff in it now. Pretty cool. That's probably why it's 10 times more popular than Phaser. Alright. In the reducer, we'll capture these 2 new actions. Move. Oh, Nui, you might not have been there when I had to stop streaming. I was going along, and I got a call from my son saying that so-and-so's dad was supposed to pick us up from school, and it's been 20 minutes and he never showed up. And it turns out that the miscommunication, he didn't know he had to pick up the kids. You were there when I left? Yeah. So I had to, they had been waiting already for 20 minutes, so I had to go rescue them. But I fully intended to start streaming again when I got back. The only downside, I guess, is that it was disrupting the stream, and I probably lost a lot of viewers and confused people, but that's life. Move cooldown will be false if it gets here. And end means it is cooled down, so it's true. Okay, so the next step I think would be when we do a movement key, we have to also issue cooldown begin. And movement is handled in middleware under the stage. Move. Start move? Start move. Here it is. Okay, yeah, we won't get here unless the movement key is valid, so we can always dispatch to the game immediately, this stuff, right? So I'll just dispatch it right here. Move begin. Move cooldown begin. All right. And let's have this also captured back on the middleware. Same middleware. Here. So it's captured in the reducer, but also here. And what I want to do here is set the timer to dispatch again when it's cooled down. So yeah, we'll just do a set timeout. The handler will be, so I need dispatch. Dispatch actions move cooldown end. And how frequently? Well, if the rate limit is 10 per second in a 10-second window, so let's say it's instead of 0.1, it'd be 0.15. So give us a little bit of a margin. Okay, why did it put a squiggly there? Oh, did I have too many parentheses? I did. There we go. Okay, so then the last piece would be don't move if it's not cooled down yet. So start move should just ignore the key, I think, if we haven't cooled down yet. So if get state session move cooled down. Actually, if it's not that, right? Return. Okay, let's see it in action. I misspelled action twice. Great. I did misspell. Look at that. There we go. Thank you, compiler. Okay. So it doesn't really inhibit normal movement. Now I'm spamming it. Oh, it didn't work. Okay. I should... Let's console log when we said it would have moved. But movement not yet cooled down. I want to see if this is actually ever happening. Console. Yep. Actually, what happened to the world? What happened to the world? Uh-oh, did I break the world? Oh, I think I've moved off into the great beyond here. How do I get myself back? I think my character is moving into the void. So I gotta know what my entity ID is. Actually, it should tell me what it is. Oh, wait a minute. This is a quick way I can do it. I can download my datas. Let me turn this back on. Let me download my datas. And just look at it. I am entity 523. Yeah, look at my X position. Way off to the left. You know what I should do is on logout, you should stop moving. I didn't think about that. If you're in the middle of a movement and you log out, you'll never stop moving. I should probably put in I should probably fix that, right? If moving when logged out, stop moving. Because I don't think he ever stopped moving. Alright, so let me rescue him. He is 523. So teleport him to 0, 0. Yay, I'm rescued. Okay, now let's watch the console. I don't think it's working because I've never seen the console message, so time to look at Redux, I guess. I'm in an incognito window, so I can't, this won't work. Let me log out here and just use this window instead. It'll cause issues, yeah, if you never tell a server you want to stop moving. What I can probably do is, if you hit a wall or something, it can auto-stop. That's one thing you can do. If you log out, if you hit an obstacle, it should probably just automatically stop, right? Okay. So, did I forget to dispatch the action in the first place? That might be what happened. No, I did. Why is this not showing up here? Canmu probably just needs some logic, yeah, to see if they're logged in or not. The problem is that the entity component system doesn't actually know if the player is logged in or not. Instead, it's the executor. When the executor logs out the player, the executor, right now, I'll show you. I know, hold on. Before I say anything more, let me go to the executor. There's this function on player logged out that happens. So right now I'm already doing one thing, which is teleporting you to the logged out zone so that your icon vanishes when you're not logged in. Once you're in that zone, if you're still moving, you'll go off into the ether, right? There's no tiles in the logged out zone. So what this should do, in addition to teleporting you to the logged out zone, it should turn off your movement. Alternatively, I could have the movement system see if you're in the logged out zone, you can't move. Only then, if you log in, you'll just start moving again. So yeah, probably I should do both. Don't allow movement, and turn off the movement key if you get logged out. But then I would do it all here in the executor. Next to the follow, rendiment. I'm kind of confused why right now this does not get dispatched. Did I not save this? Start move, send to game, the player input, stop move. So yeah, there's the send to game. Oh, hold on. That's the start move. There's the send to game. Where's the reflect camera position? Oh, this is for the administrator. I'm in the wrong place. This goes here. All right. My bad. Okay. Let's try this again. Console. Don't type in the console. There we go. Would have moved, but not yet cooled down. So we're seeing those again. Oh, and I don't have the timeout frequent enough. Let me print something if I do move. Moving. Key. Oh, and there I go off into the ether. See that? Saved myself there. Oh, almost indifferent ghosts. So the graphics are actually rendered in phaser.io, which is another JavaScript library. The panels around here and the chat window, which I can't see because I'm not logged. The admin tool is not logged in. Let me fix that. Hold on a sec. Yeah, that stuff is in React and using Redux. Everything's using Redux as well. Hold on, where I misplaced my key. Oh, I know what's happening. I'm looking at the wrong screen. Here's my key. Key. Now I can chat. Yeah, so all the DOM stuff is in React and Redux, and this is in Phaser.js. Was there a reason I chose Phaser? Well, I had a prototype that I worked on, and I had a side-by-side comparison between Phaser and Pixie. For fairness, I should say I did not try out 3.js, which turns out we've learned today it's a lot more popular. But anyway, I compared two of the ones I knew of, which were Phaser and Pixie, and I ended up liking Phaser better because it has built-in handling of sprite depth sorting. So I just tell Phaser what the depth coordinate, I suppose you'd call it, what the depth coordinate is for a sprite, and it handles the depth sorting for me. Whereas Pixie didn't do that. I'd had to sort it myself, and I found that kind of annoying. Otherwise, they're pretty much equivalent. The other reason I went with Phaser is when I add sound effects later, Phaser supports sound already. New account, first notification is new ticket created. Yeah, that's a known issue in the UI. It really, I need to tell you somehow, at some point, if there's any interaction between you and the administrator on your name that you picked. So you created an account. The name it might be a bad word, so I don't want to show it in the game until I had a chance to validate the name. So that's why I have this ticket. So if I close and lock that, you should have seen a notification pop up. Basically, it means I've okayed the name. Oh, we have some other names. Let me okay them as well. So yeah, these are automatic tickets generated whenever someone opens a new account, and that's so that if there was a problem with the name, there could be a back and forth discussion with the admin saying like, please pick another name, and then you can say, well, I really like this name, and then I can say, well, it has the F word in it. I don't want, this is family friendly, etc., etc. Maybe a back and forth discussion in the ticket. Yeah, that's a good idea. I had that in my notes somewhere, but let me give you a point for that. I do want to do that. That clicking it should dismiss the toast and bring you to the ticket thing. And I also need to explain better what the heck a name check ticket means. It just says something like, this ticket is opened so that the game administrator can make sure that your name is acceptable. Until it's closed, you'll appear with, I mean, I think it shows that now in the profile. Yeah, so if I mask Raimu and I show it here, it says your account is currently masked, which means players see you as player one. This is temporary until the game editors have approved your player name for use, but it doesn't mention that there will be a name check ticket that matches that. So I need to improve the UI for that. Oh, what's this? Percentages, row tracks, and gutters for infinite height grid containers will be resolved against the intrinsic height instead of being treated as auto or zero respectively. This change will happen around October. Interesting. So I must be using something that's deprecated in my CSS. Good to know. Oh, I wanted to see the time between, I think. I can see that in Redux, right? If I look at start move. Yeah, these are too frequent. Did I get the Am I off by an order of magnitude in the cooldown? Might be off. It's a set timer, right? Oh, is this milliseconds? So it should be 150, not 0.15. Yeah, that's probably what I did wrong. Yeah, you're right, Brendiment. I'm used to doing everything in seconds because that makes sense to me, and that's the unit that I use in my backend server, but JavaScript likes milliseconds. To me, it's strange because the milli implies it's a scaled unit, you know, 1/1000th, and shouldn't the unit just be a unit? It's a floating point after all. Anyway, I'm ranting too much. There we go. So normal movement, you won't trigger it, but if you do frantic movement, it will hold you back. So I'm pressing it quite rapidly now, and it's not disconnecting me. If I keep increasing the frequency, I start to hit that limit. And that, yeah, that'll prevent you from being disconnected. Oh, no, there it happened. I got disconnected. So maybe back it off a little bit more. 200 milliseconds. I mean, the built-in cooldown is 250 anyway. So it won't yet have cooled down. I also need to tune the level at the server end. I should probably allow more than 10 per second. Because there'll be at least 8 at maximum rate, right? Because you can move 4 times in a second, so you can move, release, move, release, move, release, move, release, and that's 8 within a second. I should probably like double it or something, 20. I think this is probably good enough for now. So let me remove the console logs. Would have. Where am I? I'm in the wrong file. This one. Change that to a not again and we're done. The game Gamfus was black. Yeah, that's a bug that someone told me about today. Should we look into that now? Let's fix that one next. I'll fix that one right now, Liquidor. Let's get to the bottom of it, shall we? Let me check this in first. So, what are we going to call this? Slow, client-side movement cooldown. This is to prevent the player from accidentally sending messages to the server too frequently and being disconnected. It shouldn't allow empty messages. I'm here. So if you hit enter or spaces, it doesn't allow that. Do you mean inside of the tickets? Because that's another issue. Yeah, so... Oh, there's a new player. Yeah, so right now, actually, no. I fixed that. But you can hit a space and then add a note, and then it looks empty. Is that what you mean? Check the network. So what did you see in the network that's empty? I'm confused, Liquidor. So you shouldn't be able to send an empty chat message. This is a bug that you can hit space here, and that'll actually append something, and I know about that one. Unmask. Okay, thank you for the picture. Let me look at it. Oh, right, the server ignores it. Okay, yeah, that's a good one. The server ignores empty chat messages, but we're still sending it. You're right about that. So, yeah. Network. Oh, I'm on the wrong window. I want to be on this one and this tab. And then look at network. Yeah, so if I hit that button, yeah, it's sending empty chat. The server ignores it, but you're right. Racking up those points, Liquidor. You'll be at the top of the leaderboard soon. Let me fix the more urgent one, which is when a new account gets created, you can't, you're blind. So let me reproduce that after I check this in, right? Commit. You could, but I could just fix it now. It's already in there though. Someone's already found that bug. I thought someone did. Or maybe it was in my notes for today. Yeah, Malvex already found it. And scored 3 points for finding it, Liquidor. You spammed the hell out of Botland over the last year, so you know how to find bugs. Cool. Yeah, Malvex found this. So let's work on that now. And let's see if I can reproduce it. So I want to move to my admin mountain, by the way. Okay, so let me log out of this one and then do a new account, Bob. Sign up. Indeed, it is dark. So what happened here? We got no camera created. I think that's the problem. Let me confirm that on the server side. Actually, there's no character entity at all, so I would see that if I looked at the snapshot, right? There should be no... So it's not doing the login side effect when you create your account. Actually, I'm not too surprised by that. That's happened to me before. Yeah, so there's no entity created at all. So if I look for Bob, there is an entity created, but just no components? Yeah, there's a character entity with no components. That's what happened. Yeah, that's the login side effect that does that. So let's find the code for that. Yeah, the solution right now is you hit refresh, right? If you hit refresh, it'll log in and then make the components that are missing, and you'll end up in the default position, which is the center of the world, in the default zone. So the executor is in charge of this. It's this function here, on player login, is probably not being called. Oh, yeah, that's what it is. So it's being called if you log in, but not in the other two places that... There are 3 ways you could log into the game. You could log in, you can create a new account, and then you can reset your password. So I'm not doing this on password reset or new account. So I deserve to make a unit test to reproduce that. Executor tests. Or I can modify an existing one, which I think I'd rather do that. Okay. Where do you prefer issues to be written? Oh, I'm going to be funneling them to the issues link, which is this GitHub. But no one's using it yet. So you don't have to put it here, but I'm going to be tracking them here. If you don't mind, this would be the perfect place to enter them, because they're all going to funnel here eventually. Right now, for convenience, there's the in-game system you can report it. And what I plan to do is you open a ticket like Malvex did. I want to have another field up here called link, and then it'll link directly to this if you care. So you can continue to open them here, and I'll eventually have them linked. But then other things I've been writing in my notebook, I have to manually copy those into the issues. And they also have a Trello, and I need to copy those over. So this is what I prefer. Any reason SHA-512? Because it's a reasonable hash function. I wanted to use something that wasn't failing in any kind of security, minimum security. And as far as I know, SHA-512 is still pretty good. I know it's not the best recommended. The best recommended one was bcrypt or something like that. But I don't know that algorithm. SHA-512 I actually already knew. So the combination of something I knew and the fact that it was not a hash function that people say no to anymore. Problem with the in-game one is you can't see what others have reported. That's true. It's really just for convenience right now. So that's another good reason why I want to funnel them into here so that you can search and see if it's been reported. I don't mind it right now if people are reporting dupes, because this helps me test the in-game ticket system anyway. But yeah, let's use this one for any for the preferred one. Oh, there's some new players. Test 2. No, that one should be open and stay open. Aha, there's some new ones here. Broken fonts and camera view. Really? The font's broken? Interesting. I'll have to look into that one. That one stays open. Crashes when you spam two directions at once. So that should be fixed now. I just fixed that, and we'll close this ticket once it's been pushed into production. Keep it open for now. Yes, definitely. And oh, lock. I really shouldn't lock everything. Lock as if I don't want it to ever be touched again. If I just close, so was there one that you had that I locked? Yeah, the name check. I don't want the name check ever to be reopened because that was checking your initial name. If you were to change your name again, a new name check ticket gets opened. If that makes sense. So I've really only been locking the name check ones because those are, you know, archived or historical. They'll never be changed again. Oh, there's another one here. Yeah. Oh, down here, Kinematics. Player called admin somehow cheated into it. Admin can cheat. Sorry, feels bad, man. Okay, there were no other. Oh, and there was a new one. Can't reopen a locked ticket. Oh yeah, I was looking at that. That's by design. I generally won't lock tickets unless they're the initial name check ticket or it's a discussion that should be archived. No more discussion. That kind of a thing. You can only log out in the character panel. No, it should be, you can log out from the profile as well, I thought. Where's the normal camera view? Or where's the normal client? Here we go. You can log out there and you can log out in settings. Oh, are you saying you want to have logout no matter what panel we're on? It's probably a good idea, actually. I'm gonna, I am getting totally confused here. Okay. I'm gonna say that's a good idea. That button should be ooh, you just put in a note while I was typing. Should be independent of selected panel. Thanks for the follow, monkeys. Open that one. And there's no more new ones, right? Well, there's ones from Nui. Okay, cool. Okay, it's really all of it's really these in concert with new character. So It's this expectation. Yeah, so we'll just add this expectation to, or really should I check for the camera? This one doesn't check for camera. I could just have it check for a camera. Yeah, that's a better idea. So we'll do that on creating an account. Actually, I like the idea of making it a separate test. So let me take that fragment, keep it commented out, take this test and duplicate it and call account created. We'll say camera created when account created. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to summon you, Nui. I was saying when I typed in the word NEW, it matched some of your tickets. Usernames on top of the head are squished? You mean when you're on top of each other? Yeah. The nameplates I think will be just a temporary feature. I'm probably going to remove the nameplates unless you mouse over someone and then it'll show their name. Or I don't know, I haven't figured it out yet. And thanks for trying to test that. The other thing I could do is if the game knows that you are that tile, it maybe can always show you on top or in a different color or something. But yeah, I have a ticket somewhere tracking that already. Mobilize, add test user. Is that doing the create like I think it is? Yes. Right, so it's this expectation right here. In Firefox. Oh, really? I didn't notice that. So I didn't notice that in Firefox, but I could try looking at it again. Yeah, let me open a Firefox tab for localhost. Login. I wonder if it's OS specific because I am using Phaser to render that font, but I don't know what it does for every OS or whether it's Canvas or WebGL. Zooming in, it looks okay to me. I don't know. You'll send an image? Okay. Maybe it's specific to your OS. Okay. So what's the name of the test user? It's probably Alice, yeah. So Alice... Actually, no, I don't want Alice. I want the camera. Hold on. Create... There's a way to get the character... Hold on. Is it create? Create player? Yes. Yeah, there's an ID sent back, so I need that ID. So I need that here, actually. So const auto... Is that something that this collects? No. So player ID is executor fee results, right? ID. Interpreted as an int, right? And then from that, I get the entity by asking the... So const auto player is players get player ID, and then from that I get the entity, the character entity. And the goal of this is that the camera should tell me the same numbers that this uses. So that should be what I expect for key server, like that. And then client. There we go. That's my new test. I got some syntax wrong? Is that what this is telling me? What's this trying to tell me? Oh, probably because it doesn't know what this is. So that's const auto that. What's the type of that? Shared pointer to the command? Yeah. What am I doing on time? Technically, I still have another half an hour because I had a half an hour break. Oh wait, no, it's 3 p.m. my time. So I'm half an hour over. All right, I'll start thinking about a stopping point, but I want to fix this bug first. Yes, so that it's not giving me a camera. So that's the bug. So the fix should be pretty simple. It's after the add here, I can do the I can do it here. It's I call my own on player logged in game state and then ID. There we go. That should fix it. And then I need to do the same thing for password reset. Cool. So let's do the same thing for password reset. Let me put a bookmark. And then let me find a set password. Wow, there's a lot of setup that has to go in. Is there a simpler one? Not really. Oh, this is a bit simpler. Okay, yeah, this is what I want. Actually, can I just build it into this test? Yeah. Let's just build it into this test. I'll just change the name slightly. Reset password creates character entity. Oh no, that's not exactly what I want. I don't want exactly that. Let's just pick this out and go back to my old bookmark. And that's the new arrange. And the act. Right. It is why is it why do I have 0? That shouldn't be 0. Oh, because I had this wrong. I have to make an entity. So that's components create an entity. Then this should have the side effect of creating a camera for that entity. And this is the actual command here. There we go. It's probably OS specific. Let's see. Let's take a look. I wonder if it's font specific. Oh, that's weird. Can I zoom in more? So I wonder if that's a phaser bug, because I'm not doing any clipping. Oh, wait. No. That label should be on top of the background tile above it. Yeah, I wonder if that's a phaser bug. Because I'm not doing any clipping. And I'm setting the depth to be above everything else, so that shouldn't actually happen. Yeah, which you're using Arch? Okay. Let me look into that at some point. I would need to either get an Arch Linux setup or I'd have to search online to see. Let me give you 5 points for that. I'd either have to get Arch Linux setup or I have to search to see if someone's had a similar problem with Phaser and maybe there's a patch or it's a known issue in Phaser. Well, that's sort of disconcerting that it doesn't work for everybody. All right, let's run this test. That's not the right one. Oh no, I just didn't change the name. When logged in via password reset. That's what I want. I didn't overwrite the other test, did I? Oh, I did. Shoot. Why did I do that? Okay, I can undo to get the other one back. There we go. I got it back. All's well. Copy and then I redo and then paste it above. There. It's not lost permanently. That's added. Here's an existing user who's reset. Okay, good. I think I'm getting tired. That's why I'm making more mistakes. Okay, reproduce the problem, and now the fix is just a one-liner. That's what's kind of sad, is that these bugs are just one-liner fixes. So on set password, it's when you are setting it with the reset token here. This has the side effect of logging you in. I think. This one. Yeah, this, you don't have a reset token means you're logged in already. You're not logged in, so it does a login after it does a set password, so I need to do that. Oh, wrong one. Copied the wrong line. Shoot. It's this one I wanted. There we go. Instead of ID, it is character. Oh, no, it's not. It's player character entity. Or is it? No, it's player ID. I'm just making mistakes left and right, aren't I? Player ID. Yes. Okay. The unit test will help tell me I got it right. Yay. All right. So let me try to reproduce that problem again. This is Bob, right? So I'm going to say delete my account. And now create a new account as Bob. Oh, wait, I forgot to restart the server. I'm like, it didn't fix it? What? I actually have to, hold on. Just to be safe, snapshot, and now restart the server. New account, Bob, chickens. There we go. Fixed. Problem fixed. All right, let's check that in. might be a good stopping point. Unless there's some other quick fixes I can make. So, fix bugs in new characters. Or characters being blind on login. Or really being blind ghosts. Because they won't show up to other players either. So, create character components on new accounts as well as logins that happen to when passwords are reset. There you go. So that will be fixed as soon as I deploy. Excuse me. Yeah, thank you for helping report that. Maybe this is what I'll end with, or maybe I can just do that off stream. I don't know if anyone cares to see me enter issues into GitHub. That doesn't sound very interesting to me. Maybe I'll do this off stream. So the goal would be, by the time I start next stream, I'll have everything, all the known issues there. So I'll be putting stuff in here, compiled from all sources, so that you can go there and search for things to see if they're already known or not. And yeah, probably work on that after I take a break. The real big question is, what do I work on in the game next? Oh, Liquidor, you changed your name again? Ooh. You can create an empty bug? Fair enough. Speech bubbles in game. That's a good idea. Although they're going to show up here too. But yeah, in World of Warcraft it also shows the same thing, right? Default or text by ID description. Well, right now the default is to order by ID. Are you wanting me to order it differently by default? Descending. Aha. Got it. Yes, I kind of agree, because I didn't think about it when I first did it, and now I just generally just click it twice. Yes. Yes, that is on the list. That's definitely on the list in Trello right now, I think. I would suggest for now, since there's no real data, I wouldn't even put an email address in there. I would just, you know, if you put an email address in there, probably just remove it. And just don't use any password that you use anywhere else. When there's real character data that's valuable to people, I'll probably have at that point make sure I put that in. I need to fix this. It doesn't show what your name used to be. But Liquidor is a fine name. Your ever-changing avatar? There have been a couple viewers who have scripted my game already. One walks around randomly, and Nui, who is not logged in anymore, likes to do that. And someone else, I can't remember who it was, but someone had botted it to change the avatar regularly. It kind of looks like what you're doing. So yeah, I'm sorry to say you're not the first to think of that. Someone has already botted that. I think I'm not rate limiting the changes. You can actually get kicked from the game if you go in there too frequently. Which window? If you go in here and you click these too frequently, you can actually get kicked. You have to click very frequently though. I don't even think I need to worry about it because One thing is that it's too hard to do it, and the other thing is that I probably will not have this in the game for very much longer, that you can pick whatever avatar you want. I'll probably make it so that setting your avatar is something you have to go to a special place to do, or maybe on character creation you'd have to you'd pick it, and then before you enter the world, and then that's what you'd have. Can I click the same one? So I can just keep clicking. Oh yeah, you're right. But I can't click that. I can't click fast enough to get kicked. Although that makes the toast kind of funny. Look at that. I'm not being kicked. I'm not obviously not clicking fast enough. Click, 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 click. Yeah, I guess that's something I don't need to worry about. Anyway, this was Bob, right? I don't need Bob anymore. New player? Welcome. Or is that a renamed player? New player, welcome. Hey there, Starless. Jupiter, how are you doing? I'm kind of winding down my stream right now. I'm talking about what I'll be doing next. I either need to address the chat system, either to add moderation tools here and or a profanity filter of some kind of auto mod or active moderation tools, or what else would I want to work on? Oh, the chatbot integration. Yeah. So so on Monday I'm either gonna probably either work on improving the chat moderations, timestamps, other things, or I'm gonna work on chatbot or chat golem integration. Hey there, Cthulhu. Did you just arrive here? I'm almost done. I'm sorry. So what I worked on today, nothing visually different in the game. I just worked on refactoring and I fixed my tileset stuff so I can do that. Well, right now it's not in production, so it's still broken, but in the test environment I fixed it so I don't have to refresh whenever I change tileset stuff. Have to leave for work soon? Okay, well, I'm almost done anyway, so you won't miss anything. Yeah, that was very expensive rendering system. The rendering system was using a lot of CPU, but I fixed that pretty quickly. Yeah. Yep, Liquidor trying to break the game. I don't think that you'll hit the... Well, if you're botting it, you could easily hit the limit and get kicked off the server. Okay, anyway, I think I'm going to wrap it up. We're either work on the chat system on Monday or the chat golem integration, so I can actually assign points and have them be in-game. I'm kind of thinking that would be the more fun task to do than to work on chat, but we'll see. Eyeballs. Okay. I hope you guys enjoyed watching today. I'm sorry that there was a break in the middle, but those things happen from time to time. Yeah, see ya. Let me see who we can pass people off to here. Ooh. Leftjus is playing Ocarina of Time. Why don't we raid him? Leftjus is an awesome guy from Adam's channel, and he's not coding, he's playing a game, but I like him, so we're gonna raid Leftjus. Hope you guys all have an awesome weekend. I will be back 10 a.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. UTC. I hope you all guys, again, have a great weekend, and I'll see you later. Bye.